Hi, this is Ushio, and welcome back to Betweenside. We have done a couple of nights. How many notes have we written so far? We are up to 18 pages written, which is quite a lot. So, it's just a case of, let's keep reading. I think this letter is new. In a secluded hut, in a secluded corner of a secluded Scottish island, a noble lord was doing his noble work. Blood sloshed under his feet as he paced the room. Around him lay piles of sinew, muscle and bone, rendered so unrecognisable from human form that even he had the trouble remembering from how many graves they had been taken. Outside, the locals eyed the building with suspicion. What was he doing in there? What were those unearthly sounds? Someone had sworn to seeing a monster enter the abode and then leave again. Yet who would challenge the noble lord? They knew better than that. Okay, I like living with the pain, because this is some interesting, weird stuff. Diary entry 5. Unknown date. At night, I visit Betweenside. Inside the room, but not. I skitter behind the wallpaper. I am not sure I am human. Where are my eyes? The days are getting shorter, my time inside becoming less frequent. I will never see outside again. Soon I will be one with them. Them. I. You thought something was written on the paper, but now it is blank. Okay, so Betweenside is when we exit the room and we are outside, looking inside. It's kind of weird. You kind of glitch outside of this one room and you're looking in, so you're kind of disassociated from it. It's odd. Actually, isn't that bottle? Is that the bottle that isn't in the reflection? It's hard to tell, the chair's in the way, but I believe so, so I'm going to check that out. Oh, it's all kinds of stuff. Actually, that symbol is important. Okay, we're going to do the bottle. A shell exploded, sending mud and bones skyward. The young man, a private, fell to the ground and covered his ears. He didn't want to be in France. He didn't need to be at war. He was supposed to be a baker. The private pushed himself up and grasped his rifle. Gunfire rattled around him. He could see a horse running without a rider, and an officer with a piece of shell sticking out of his neck. The sick smell of blood suddenly overwhelmed the soldier. He looked down and saw a hole in his chest. He was supposed to be a baker. A bottle of the finest brandy, this side of the Garonne. It's sorely tempting on this long, dark and bitter evening. Is it in the will? Are we allowed to drink in? Okay, drink a snifter. Let's have a bit. The estate, you are sure, would not bemoan you this indulgence. You pour yourself a drink and bring it up to your nose. Leather, tobacco, and a hint of oak. Closing your eyes, you take a sip, at once feeling your muscles relax and your breathing slow. Opening your eyes, you see, just for a moment, the room in the new aspect. The walls, not solid, but an illusion. The mirror, not reflecting truth, but instead a window to a nearly bin. Thin lines, like puppetry strings, rise from each object, far into the storm-laden sky, where behind the unnatural clouds you see... You blink and forget your line of thought. What excellent tasting brandy. Second-hand alcohol is worth little. But perhaps it will be a pleasant surprise for someone. Nobody shall notice if you take it for yourself. Wow. The elderly caretaker did not seem well recompensed for his many years' service. A good bottle of brandy is the least you could do for him. Give it to the niece? Like her uncle, she never drinks. She may find it useful for serving guests. The eldest nephew considers himself a connoisseur, and would surely gain pleasure from such a fine vintage. And the youngest nephew values drink above most else, as it allows him for one moment to escape the labyrinth of fear. He should be pleased to drink something of quality for once. I think I'm going to give it to the caretaker. Yeah. Oh, we got an achievement for that. See, we did a good thing, perhaps, maybe. Okay. Actually, yeah, what was the other thing? Yeah, this funny... Yeah, if I see a funny logo, I'm going to go for it. What is this? The streets ran brown as the torrents of rain mixed with the dirt of city life. Water ran through the posh streets, past the gentlemen's clubs and the champagne bars. It splashed against a carriage and two men climbed inside, their eyes meeting as one clasped the hand of the other to help him inside. Drains were overflowing, and the mud continued past the good streets and the bad streets and the middle streets with their middle people, ever the barrier between the two. It splashed against the steps of a pub, a working man's pub called, let's call it, I don't know, let's call it the Queen's Legs. It's a classic, the Queen's Legs, alright. Diary entry 4. Unknown date, but it's in 1821, perhaps. How long have I been in here? It feels like years. Nobody comes to see me anymore, except the inhuman shapes behind the wallpaper, and I must confess that I am not all sure that they are real. I have heard sounds around the house. My husband talking to what sounds like a woman. She is so well spoken. I hope I am well soon. It's a blank sheet of paper. Okay. Oh, it's gone dark. There's someone there. There's someone there. Anyone else? No, but there's someone there. And they are, as before, behind the wall. Was that drawer open before? Oh, put your light on. I don't think that drawer was open before, was it? Okay. There's a box. There's the flag. Ah. You can only see... Ah, there you go. And there's over here as well. Gotta follow these blobs. Ah. But you can only get them to register when your light's on. Oh, light up. There we go. The door. The trophy. Oh. No, light up. There we go. The radio. Oh. Okay, we're outside. Oh, it's all weird and like a negative. Okay. So this is Betweenside then, I suppose, as has been described. So was Vincent experiencing these like sensations? Okay, what's that? There's something there. Let's go up to it. What is it? Is it like a bucket? Lucian and Joan took the train to Peterborough and then to Birmingham. By avoiding the direct train, they hoped to throw off the constabulary. Birmingham was as dirty and noisy a city as London. It was a place where they could blend in, but one which afforded them few places to be genuine. Joan chanced upon employment at a firearms factory, while Lucian worked from the back of a tavern. They rented cramped lodgings near to each other. Okay, because they got like a forbidden love. Alright, 2 years passed in paranoid stillness, and the two stayed together, increasingly out of duty more than love. It was a cold January morning when they met for tea, as they did every Monday. I'm thinking of moving back to London, Joan said. I thought you liked it here, Lucian replied, over his periodical. I'm an excellent liar. If you're going back, then it's going to have to be without me. Maybe it's for the best. The two sat in silence for a time. There's news from your hometown, Lucian said. I refuse to believe anything of note happens in Penzance. So Penzance is in Cornwall, in the southwest bottom left of England. I think, isn't it the last county? Then you got Land's End, and then it's the Atlantic, and there's nothing between Land's End and America, United States, you know. So it's kind of the very tip of the country. It's quite a particular place. There's been a disappearance of a society lady. Very mysterious. Okay, so what's her name? It's Mrs. Anne Tresillian. Joan put down his tea. I have to go. Alright. Back in the room. So, got the fireplace. There's the picture of the dog. There's the rose on the bed. That? Okay. Was this drawer open before? I really don't remember. So what is that? It seems like if you hit on something that has the logo, this particular emblem, it's very much the themes of what's going on with the creepy stuff. So maybe, I'm definitely going to come back to it. There's a sword. Cabinet. What's over here? There's a sheet of paper. Okay. And the radio. Yeah, that was new as well. What shall we read? What shall we look at? Let's try the drawing that the children did. It had been some time since he had declared himself the master of the village. Those that heard him said he spoke with a refined yet cruel accent. None of them had ever seen him, though. Just sometimes you'd get a note through the door or a whisper from the corner asking you to do something or fetch something, and you would do it because we all knew what would happen if you didn't. Okay. A crude child's drawing, which must be around 20 years old. In the middle stands Vincent before his retirement. To his left, his sister, before illness took her. Her offspring, still children, the 2 nephews and a niece, and one who did not live to know. To his right is Vincent's youngest brother, before he was taken by the blood debt, and in violence did tarnish the family name. All thought of him as prescribed. It must have cost Vincent dearly to keep this image. Okay. Give it to the younger nephew, who did love his uncle's brother before the unspeakable act. It was given to the older nephew, to remind him of his lost sibling, and the price family must pay for status. Give it to the niece, who does not need reminding, but would see the sacrifice glamorized. So, again, I can't remember who I gave this to before, so I'm going to give it to... Let's give it to the younger nephew. Alright. The radio is new. Let's try that. Below the forest tops, below the trees and branches and birds and butterflies, a little fox played in the crisp autumn leaves. Her name was, I don't know, Vixen... Oh, Vixen Van... Foxen. What a lovely name it was. Okay, we'll go with that. Diary entry number 3 is the 29th, perhaps, of January 1821. My husband caught me staring outside, searching for the not woman. He has fastened a covering on the window, so I do not concern myself with things that might prolong my illness. My husband must love me so, he says. Okay. I do not know how long ago that was. Perhaps 2 days, maybe. Often it's dark. Sometimes I can make out the patterns of the wallpaper and occasionally see a page well enough to write. Okay, it's just another blank piece of paper. There's so many weird things went on. How about the heart? The masked nobility skittered around the great house. They danced, they schemed, they did unfortunate things when they thought nobody could see them. A servant carefully picked up a tray of champagne. She was tired, her arms ached, and the stench of overpriced alcohol was beginning to make her feel sick. She carried it through to the main hall. A lady wearing an elegant cloth mask of a raven took the glass. This raven had a different bearing to the other guests. There was something real about her. There was something in her pocket. A man in a heavy red mask passed. The servant offered him a glass, but he declined. She turned, and the raven was gone. Weird. An aging piece of paper containing a simple composition. You're no expert, but the melody seems well constructed. It bears the signature of a Vincent Trezilian. This must have been from his younger days, when he tried to challenge his course. His compositions were supposed to have been burnt with his independence. It seems that this scrap survives. Okay. Not being mentioned in the will. You can publish it posthumously. Wow. Give it to the niece as keeper of her uncle's secrets. Give it to the elder nephew, who could have tried harder. Give it to the younger nephew as a hope and warning. So, yeah, Vincent, he wanted to make music, and he tried to... We rewrote the story. You can change how the story goes. And we rewrote it so he tried to leave the army and become a composer, but it didn't work out. He got dragged back in. So let's give it to the younger nephew as hope and warning. Alright. How about... Yeah, let's read another weird one. The train rushed through the countryside. Billowing smoke caresses the trees that lined the track. On board was every character of life. A father home to visit his son. A lawyer gone to execute a will. A ticket inspector too tired to move down the train. The coal boy wheezed as he put down his spade. Okay. Diary entry 2, 17th of January 1821. I thought I saw something out of the window the other day. A figure, human-like but not, staring up at the bedroom window. I think it was a woman. My husband admonished me when I told him of this, warning that idle thoughts caused my illness in the first place. Perhaps he's right. I do ever so wish the sadness would end. There's nothing here. Okay. Does it mean... Oh, nighttime. Nighttime. Ah. Turn the light on. Okay. There's the tree. Alright. Get these white blobs. Hit that door. I can't read what that says. What did it say? 20 pages written. Where are we? Over here. Grab. Grab. On the floor? Just going backwards and forwards? Okay. Whoa. Okay, the window and back. There's a letter. Okay, so we need to discover these creepy letters that allude to the truth. The music stopped. And we are outside. That is the moon? I think it's the moon. Okay. And I like how the chandelier is always swinging. But it's weird. Even though you're outside, it's still claustrophobic. This is the only thing that exists within this game. And you're centered around it. Your entire existence centers around this space. And you're either in it or looking into it, and that's everything there is. It is so weird. There's something on top of that wardrobe, actually. Anyway, let's check out this. Joan had barely the money to make the trip, and he had little idea of how he would be received by his family. He hitched rides in wagons and farmers' carts and slowly made his bleak pilgrimage back to the town of his birth, Penzance. On his return, he found the household in disarray. His father had passed some years ago. His mother a time before that. Joan's sister, Delia, had inherited the position of housekeeper to the Tresillian house. With the disappearance of Anne Tresillian and the ineptitude of the patriarch of the house, Walter, Delia's job had become less valet and more governess, at least until she fell ill. Joan sat beside her in the bed in the house he grew up in, a humid little shack near the Tresillian estate. "You've finally come back to us," she said. "Not forever. It's just until you get better." Delia coughed. "So you've returned just to abandon me again?" "Sister, you know I had to leave." "No, you didn't." Joan held her hand. Delia looked him in the eye. "I'll be dead soon," she said. "No, you'll get better." "Stop. I need you to listen. Lord Tresillian is a weak man. He can't protect the family. You need to stay and make what you did right." "You want me to replace you?" he said. "Yeah. You know what Thomas did for Mum and Dad? We owe it to them. I'm sure the Tresillians won't have a problem finding someone else to change their bedpans." "Stop it," his sister said. "Just stop." She passed a few days later. Joan sat at the back of the train as Penzance disappeared from view. He must have been forgotten in London by now, so he was free to make a new life, one of his own. A newspaper lay on the seat next to him. Joan picked up and opened it. A man, Mr. Lucian Wright, arrested in Birmingham over the case of murdered constable Mr. Edson Lee, accomplice still believed to be at large. The train pulled in to the small station just outside of town. Joan calmly and with purpose placed the newspaper on the seat next to him and stood up and alighted from the train. Oh wow, so the constable they killed, yeah, one of them got arrested and one is still on the loose. It's going to be interesting to find out what happens next. So yeah, okay, I'll see you in the next video.